Lesson 6, Question 1. In the United States, the practice of permitting aliens to vote could be seen as compatible with the idea of an exclusionary citizenship. But that is a hard balance to maintain. If the vote of all rights is in the hands of non-citizens, why should they not count as citizens? And the entire distinction between resident alien and citizen be abandoned? Indeed, something like this thought probably lay behind the disappearance of alien voting. With the universal adult citizen suffrage after 1920, the only way to maintain an exclusionary kind of citizenship was to restrict the vote to citizens and not residents. But no theory of active democracy can countenance this distinction. The laws concerning our common life must be made by all those who are taking part in it. And residence is the only convincing test of whether someone is taking part, as is understood, almost universally when it comes to questions, of which citizens should have a voice in local government. Lesson 6, Question 2. When people are asked what any painting hanging on a gallery wall means, no matter how strange it might appear, as is the case with most abstract expressionist paintings, they tend to find meaning in it because it is located in a gallery. Consider a soda can found thrown away on a city street. If we were to come across this item on the street, we would no doubt view it as a piece of garbage or rubbish. But if we saw the very same object on a pedestal, displayed in an art gallery, signed by some artist, and given a title such as Waste, then we would interpret its meaning in a vastly different way. We would, in fact, be inclined to interpret it as an artistic form, descrying a throwaway or materialistic society. Clearly, the can's location on a sidewalk versus its display on a pedestal in an art gallery will influence how we will interpret it. Lesson 6, Question 3. The reliance on the computer as a model for the operations of the human mind may well prove to be as limited as an earlier fascination with behaviorism. Psychologists have already begun to recognize the flaws of the mind as computer metaphor. Some have turned to cultural anthropology as a way of understanding the factors outside any particular individual's brain that help the individual make sense out of the world. Others, such as Jerome Bruner, one of the founders of cognitive psychology, find that the computer analogy carries with it an unfortunate shift from the construction of meaning to the processing of information. Bruner's reflections on the limits of the machine model lead him back to a humanistic emphasis on narrative and storytelling as essential ingredients in understanding human cognition, a fascinating intellectual journey that reveals both the power and the limits of computers as guides to the way we think. Lesson 6, Question 4. In the escape that reading literature provides through vicarious identification and comparison with other lives, places, and times, we activate our imagination, that uniquely human ability to explore an alternative set of ideas and experiences that are outside our present environment and that may not even be real, as opposed to perception that receives and processes information from the outside world. Light, sound, shape, and finds meaning in it: a sunset, a symphony, a house in imagination. The process is reversed. Translating the words we read into what they signify, we populate an inner world in which imagery is created from the memory. For example, we read house and picture, a representation of a house from memory. It is our imagination, the complex interweaving of perception and memory that literature activates, releasing a latent creativity that pleases. The writer may provide the blueprint, but the reader builds literature's many rooms and, like any satisfying occupation, literature gratifies our imaginative and creative abilities.